Alright guys, what's up? It's Liberate the Vanguard here with the deck tech of my buddy's dote deck.
Alright, just so I can do it in this order that I want, Duggar wanted Heyo Pineapple in it. Have the damn card. Now, we're going to start off with triggers, because I showed Heyo Pineapple in a dote deck tech. Let's start off with the starter actually. Where better to begin than the beginning? Now, Doombringer Griffin is the direct searcher for Dragonic Overlord at the end. He is beautiful because what happens is you counterblast 2, sack 2 rear guards, and directly search for him. Duggar, get out of the box. You're a tool. Now, what happens is, when you do this, you can leave him on the field or you can kill him with you. So you can continuously search for all 4 dote if you really feel like it. Usually I use it when I have 1 dote in hand, and I will then go over and find another after. I usually like to do it with Gojo, where I rest Gojo, mill something I don't want out of my hand, pick something up from my deck, then counterblast 1, kill this and Gojo, and pick up a dote. That's usually when I have 1 dote in hand. If not, I ditch 2. I have to do this twice to search for at least the Dragonic Overlord, the end combination. I run 6 draw triggers, obviously, since dote's worried about getting Dragonic Overlord at the end in your hand rather than your drop zone or damage zone. 2 of the trial deck criticals, and 4 of Art Peak. Art Peak is beautiful because if you want to go for a late game rush, shove him in Soul, and he gets plus 3k. Now on to my crit triggers. I run 2 Rock Sasha, 2 Tar, and 2 Draco Kid. The reason for that is, yes, Rock Sasha can be a booster late game when you start retiring things off of Kagero ability like Berserk Dragon and everything, but the reason I run these 6 crit is because it makes it harder on my opponent to guess the criticals that I am using, since a lot of people controversially think that Kagero is either a 12 crit deck for heal or a 8 crit for draw and 4 heal deck, or just excessive. So I make my opponents not only guess how I'm running my deck, but I'm also making them guess on how I'm running my triggers, which is a fun confusion game to play with them. And to finish off my grade 0s, I have 4 heal triggers. So after that short, sweet little introduction, on to grade 1. Now with grade 1, I only run 2 Gojo. Yes, I know Gojo's a common, and I have a Gaius in his place, but I'm grabbing the other one tomorrow. Gojo is such a beautiful thing to set up your hand. If you already have stuff in your hand that you're good with, Gojo will set it up beautifully, since he can rest, ditch something you don't need from your hand, especially since I'm running 10 grade 3s in this deck. I can always ditch grade 3 to get something I want more, whether it's a ride target or a more specific card like maybe a Burning Horn Dragon. They're great to run, but I run 2 of, because I run 3 of this guy, Heat Nail Salamander. Heat Nail Salamander is a triple R from set 4. Triple R grade 1, I know, it's excessive. But he's a 6k booster. It's a very weak booster, but the skill adds so much pressure that it just causes so much overguard. The skill is, when an attack hits a Vanguard during the battle this unit boosted a Kagero unit, you can choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or lower rear guards and retire it. There's a stand trigger named Flame Seed Salamander that I used to run, but I don't like putting a stand trigger on the field due to the fact that even though he'll cycle back in the deck, he doesn't have ample power to create a stage higher of guard for your opponent. So it's kind of useless due to the, yes, you can retire their starter, but this will retire their starter, this will retire any annoying booster, and this goes into your deck as soon as his skill activates. So he keeps deck cycling, which will keep your deck intact even when you're doing all the draw triggers, and it really helps you prevent from drawing out. 4 bar. He's the AK Vanilla booster. He provides so much power to your columns, and he is self-explanatory. And the last self-explanatory part of this deck is 4 Bree, who doesn't like a deck with perfect guards. I know Duggar doesn't like to run perfect guards in his Link Joker deck, but that's a whole nother story.
They're 20 bucks a pop. It's not my fault. That's why I haven't done a deck tech on it.
It's his fault, he's lazy. Now, on to this. Right now I'm running 3 Nahalem, but I'm looking at running 3 Berserk Dragon because this deck doesn't use much Counterblast. It'll use the Counterblast for Doombringer Griffin and for Dragonic Overlord the End. When your opponent sees that Dragonic Overlord the End is something that is used when the attack hits, they usually guard it. So you might pull off Dragonic Overlord the End once or twice, 3 times if you are really lucky. But these are going to turn into Berserk Dragons just so I can retire more of my opponent's field instead of me aiming rearguard attacks at them. But for now, I've learned that Nahalem is a great 10k vanilla to have in your deck. Following that is 4 Belliscosity Dragon. Belliscosity Dragon is a 9k grade 2, 5k shield, and he is your damage unflipper for the Kagero clan. He's been reprinted in so many things that he is so easy to find, and he is such a useful component to this deck. I can always have early game Doombringer Griffin, and if I bring Belliscosity out, my opponent will more than likely take the early game attack, which automatically unflips my damage, and if not, they're ditching grade 0 guard for later. So it's a great card to pull out early game as a ride target, or even just early game rear guard. And to end this grade 2 lineup, that is 4 Burning Horn Dragon. He is the 12k attacker when you have a Dragonic Overlord Vanguard. He is a great card to have later in the game. He's a 5k interceptor and a 12k attacker. Those are beautiful due to the 13k Vanguards or 11k bases that everyone runs. Now, the surprise in my deck, 2 Cruel Dragons. Yes, I said Cruel Dragon. This is a Dragonic Overlord the End deck, as you can see, but I'm running 2 Cruel Dragon to speed up my game. I took Dragonic Overlord out recently because the deck wasn't doing what I wanted. It was just too slow for me, and I was trying this. Whenever I hit Cruel Dragon, as you can see in a matchup video, which will be posted on this site, I don't know what it's going to be called. He'll name it. This really helped get a win because it was an early ride, and even though he's an 8k when you ride him from grade 2 as from his ability, he gives you Twin Drive, so you're plussing so much earlier than your opponent, and then you are working with an 11k base. And if you don't hit Dauntless early enough, you can wait on him. I haven't had to do this yet, but if I have to, he's something great that you can wait on. He's an 11k base, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. I don't use Soul in this deck, so Soul Blasting is perfectly fine with me. And if the attack hits, no, sorry, just attack a Vanguard. Sorry, I never had to use the skill. I'm a little rusty with it. Just attacking a Vanguard, I Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and he can retire grade 2 or less rear guard. So he basically retire almost any rear guard that is annoying for your opponent. Now, to the beefy engine of this deck. This bad boy right here. I run 3 Dragonic Overlord at the end. On top of that, I run 4 Dauntless Drive Dragon. With set 15 coming out, the pre-release is in the next 2 weeks, and the actual release date is
19th of September.
19th of September, which is soon to come. These 4 guys are going to come out. They're going to turn into Dragonic Overlords because of the cross break ride ability, but for now, these 2 cards are magnificent. In theory, he was made the Kagero break ride because of the meta Dragonic Overlord, the end that fell off of meta before set 11. He was meta all the way through. He kind of fell through, down from first tier, down to tier 2 and 3, but as soon as Dauntless Drive Dragon came back out, he went back up to tier 1. Currently, he's down at tier 2 at best. He's definitely at tier 3 right now, but as soon as the Dragonic Overlord break ride comes out, he's going to be at least tier 2. So he'll be a force to be reckoned with. But what I enjoy doing is I will set up Dauntless to Dragonic Overlord at the end, so my opponent automatically has to deal with me standing this back up once. And if they try to guard it and they run out of guard and this attack goes through, he throws Salt in an open wound, you Counterblast 2 Persona Blast, and he'll allow yourself to stand back up. This deck has amazing synergy, especially since he's getting a 10k attacker and a grade 2 that I forget what it does, to support the Dragonic Overlord at the end deck. So this is pretty much version 1.0, if you'd like to say, of this deck, and you will definitely be seeing the updates in upcoming videos. It's been a pleasure. See you guys later.